It's clear that there is a governance problem here from all the presentations, not just a technological problem. There is, in fact, a dramatic collision between the federal government's infrastructure agenda and the climate change agenda. At state level, there's going to be a proposition very soon to build a new road tunnel costing some $10 billion and a rail tunnel, maybe $2 billion. The Garneau report, Professor Garneau is basically telling the government that overall Australia must cut GHG emissions by 85% by 2050. But at federal level, again, the infrastructure agenda is to spend something like $20 to $30 billion building mostly motorway standard roads, allegedly trucking products to and from ports, but in fact serving to build car-dependent outer suburbs in our cities. So there's a serious problem here, and it's a governance problem, and it's related to the path dependence of policy, whereby the huge inertia of organizations and thinking over time continues from the past, which was based on the automobile and the internal combustion engine, to the future, which won't have any of that. So GAMET is about finding alternatives and looking at the governance problems. We're a collaborative research centre dedicated to promoting and supporting sustainable urban transport in Australia and the Asia-Pacific region. We reach into Asia. We have not only Australian universities, but also universities in Shanghai and Tokyo, and we're making links with Beijing. We have an emphasis, a philosophical emphasis, on active and collective urban passenger transport. Our program, in brief, is, first of all, we're trying to develop a new ideal model of sustainable urban transport. And Paddy has talked a little bit about one part of the model. We're trying to understand future environmental and resource constraints. What are we up against? Peak oil, climate change, of course. We want to prepare an approach that could work within the constraints. Again, we've talked a little bit about that, and really this is what this workshop is all about. And we're about understanding and overcoming barriers to change within government, within organizations, and trying to overcome that inertia of the past. And we're about finding better ways of planning and resourcing solutions. I want to just finish on this slide because it's something you will never see in Melbourne. And it's nothing to do with technology. It's just an ordinary old train and an ordinary old bus. But the very interesting thing is that the bus system is connected to the train system. And there is a very short walk from the one to the other. Why this isn't possible in Melbourne defeats me. It is a very simple idea and is carried out in Zurich. But the government is, for some reason, reluctant to apply that sort of thinking to the Melbourne problem and to Australian cities in general. Why? It is a governance issue, I think, not a technological issue. Just getting to that, getting to a system where you can get off a local bus, which serves a local area, and get onto the train network, which provides fast travel over the whole metropolitan system. Zurich is not a funny little old-fashioned high-density city in Europe. It is a large metropolitan region of about 1 million people. The density of metropolitan Zurich is about half that of metropolitan Melbourne. It is also based around a body of water. And by the way, there are ferries on Lake Zurich, rather in the way that it was suggested that we should have ferries on the bay, but of a different sort. So all this connects up. It's network planning. And one of the things we're trying to do is to promote the idea of networked urban transport systems.